Today, no country represents the concepts of cheap labor and cheap products in the American psyche better than China. We wondered what effect China's growth is having on local businesses, so we took a look at 3 small independent businesses in our neighborhood. And we found one thing on everyone's mind.
China, one word. What do you explain this rapid fall in prices? China, one word.
Welcome to the new United States.
China, one word.
That's what you think is good for the United States, that things are built in China, and that a few people are becoming very wealthy off of it, and that you've got a lot of employees that are making peanuts. Welcome to the new United States, because that's what you got.
Joey Consovoy is in the local death care industry.
My name is Joey Consovoy, and this is ABC Caskets Factory in Los Angeles, founded by my grandfather, my father, and 2 uncles in 1933.
His company does caskets the old-fashioned way.
We do everything from scratch, from raw lumber to the finished product on site.
Joey is feeling the pressure from China.
China has a direct impact on anyone that is selling caskets, because that allows them to get caskets at a low price and theoretically sell it at a low price.
Well, my name is Ray Hippolito. The name of the business is Seafood Distributors.
Ray Ippolito says that extremely cheap labor costs allow Chinese shrimp producers to undercut his usual supply.
Somebody was pretty smart over in China and took the species from these countries, took it to China to farm raise it, of course labor being a lot cheaper there, and offer a value-added shrimp at a lot cheaper price. Pretty much saying it was the same species, but we all know it's not.
Ray explained that many customers pressure him to sell Chinese products, demanding the lower price and cutting his profit.
People just say, hey, look, if I can get a shrimp for $2 compared to the $4 that you're charging me for a better product, I'll go with the $2 price. I'll put some extra salt on it. It'll taste the same.
Meanwhile, the Fretted Frog Guitar Shop mostly sells guitars made in China.
So my name is Roland Bedouin. I'm a French citizen and I'm the owner of the place here. As you see, it's a guitar store.
Roland thinks that Chinese-made guitars allow consumers to get a good guitar for much less.
Growth of China is certainly good news for people who want to buy a guitar. Now you get very nice guitars for 1/3 of the price.
Professor Min Sin Pei from the Claremont Colleges says that China's influence is limited.
So most of the American business owners are actually not affected at all because, as I said, they're in the service sector. Those that are making things, then they get affected. Most of the American manufacturing business is controlled by large corporations, GEs, Boeings. If you are a small, medium-sized company and you are making a commodity type products, then your businesses have no future.
Joey feels that the U.S. government doesn't favor businesses like his.
Free trade, where everyone's allowed to just compete, does not make any sense to me. All the regulations, air quality, all the taxes that we're paying, all the standards of taking care of the workers' health, making sure it's a safe environment. The rules that we're governed by are not the rules that the Chinese are governed by.
I think their government is doing things wrong, flat out. There's just, they don't encourage American businesses and certain product to be brought here.
Some think the U.S. government should help out.
Going back to the earlier times where there were tariffs in those days, which basically protected the manufacturing in this country, I would go back to that again. If they want to compete with us, let them pay the same rates and everything, be under the same air quality regulations that we are. If you don't want to do it that way, then you have to have tariffs to protect us. Otherwise, there's no way that we can compete.
But are all Americans ready for what tariffs would create?
Some U.S. companies have interest in the Chinese manufacturers. It's a kind of a game that, if you improve tariffs, are you ready to face the impact of doing so, doing a kind of economic war. I think that nobody feels to go in an economic war with China. I don't think we can win.
The tariffs have to be high enough to offset the labor cost. Even if you raise tariffs by 20%, if your labor cost in China is 50% lower, still they can undersell. And then the other is consumers will pay more. And the other question you need to ask is, why should I pay more in order to subsidize somebody's business?
Roland feels that it is not possible to get a good American-made guitar at a reasonable price.
I have three categories of customers. First ones, they just want quality and cheap, and they don't care where it's made. The second kind is more people who are very dubious about the quality of Chinese products. Third part really wants to support the local and US economy. I would say it's 10% of the people coming in the store who really care about where it's made and supporting the economy. Everybody wants cheap things.
We try to accommodate the person that's just basically trying to buy something that's inexpensive. A lot of people can't afford anything more. I understand that. But we also have another type of buyer that is in the minority, and that's a buyer that's looking for quality. You know, if I were going to make a hamburger or a hot dog, I would make the best one I could possibly figure out how to make. That's me. I would not try to give you a soggy bun and a cheap hot dog.
When we were trying to sell a shrimp for $3 and your end consumer would come to you and say, hey, I can get it for $2.50, are you willing to match it? When you talk about a consumer who's buying not just a shrimp from you, but 20 other different varieties of seafood products, you don't want to lose that customer.
The vast majority of Americans associate Chinese goods with low quality.
We saw product and quality go down.
I'm not saying that their quality is atrocious, but it's not going to be the same as what we do.
The gap in quality is decreasing every day. You need to have the control, quality control.
Quality control is an issue in a developing country, any developing country. I've stopped buying socks at Costco from China. You wear them 3 times and your toes stick out.
Joey thinks that the system is rigged to help a few wealthy people.
It's a little company called Walmart that, by the way, sells caskets online. They're probably one of the largest employers in the United States. Very low pay, terrible. Most of their merchandise, a lot of it is coming in from China. And by the way, their family is one of the wealthiest families in the United States.
Many people worry that the American manufacturer is dying.
If you go to Walmart, Home Depot, and look at the kind of labor-intensive, low-tech, or even to medium-tech products, none of them is made in the U.S. anymore.
It helps people that really want to take advantage of using the Chinese market. It's good for them. It's not good for people here.
But also there's this pricing issue. That is, Walmart or big American companies, retail companies, they go to China and say, here is a product. You make it, this is my price. No negotiation. If you're a Chinese producer, you say, oh yes, I'll take it. But then you cut down on quality. But then, who do you blame? You blame the Chinese producer, plus you blame Costco.
Some say that globalization and capitalism helps lift workers out of poverty all over the world.
Because next step would be for the Chinese to ask maybe more decent salaries. And you will have a kind of change in the Chinese population with more white collar. The cost of living would increase.
The spread of capitalism led to this explosive growth. That's why the rest of the world is rising.
But then again,
there's always cheap labor somewhere. Yeah.
In other words, China is just the cheap labor flavor of the month.
So next step would be certainly some other countries in East Asia.
If China does not make those products, Vietnam will. Indonesia will. India will.
It's not just China. It could be India. It could be any country where they have extremely low pay. But what you're going to end up with is a few super wealthy people, and a lot of people are just barely making it. And that's what we got here today.
The average American real income has not increased for the last 40 years. This is the real scandal.
I think what I'm saying is the guy in the middle class Chinese or the middle class American, he's not in this story. He's really not. It's the guy at the top is doing really well on these deals.
For the moment, China is just a rising star in a much larger game. What's the name of the game?
One simple answer: capitalism.